All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're deconstructing a pretty bold argument: the idea that the race for self driving cars is, for all intents and purposes, over, and that the winning move was fueled by 7 billion miles of data. We're going to follow the story exactly as it was laid out in the source material to see how they make this case. You see, the way the story is told, it isn't just about a statistic. It's framed as a journey. It's about how one single staggering number popping up on a screen can trigger this profound insight into where AI, and really technology itself, is headed. So, to really get the argument, we have to picture the scene. The source sets it up very carefully, by having us follow a single character as she starts connecting the dots. So, we meet this character, Hana Kim, and she's driving a Cybertruck. The whole thing kicks off with a simple news alert that flashes on her laptop. But this one alert, it's about to change her entire perspective on everything. This is the first number she sees: 7 billion. It's a massive number, almost hard to wrap your head around. I mean, to put it in perspective, that's like driving from here to the sun and back almost 38 times. But believe it or not, that's not even the most important number she sees. This is the one. This is the number that triggers the big realization for her: 2.5 billion miles, driven specifically in messy, complicated city environments. In this narrative, this isn't just a slice of the total, it's the most valuable piece of the entire pie. So, why? And that question, well, it brings us right to the core of the whole argument: the data itself. We're shifting from what Hana saw to what she understood. It's all about the quality of the data, not just the sheer quantity. Now, to really get this, we have to talk about something called an edge case. Think of these as all the weird, random, unpredictable things that happen when you're driving. Stuff you just can't predict in a simulation. They are the ultimate pop quiz for a self-driving system, and the only real way for an AI to learn how to deal with them is to see them happen, out there in the real world. And that is why city miles are the absolute secret sauce here. The logic in the source is that cities are basically just edge case factories. Every single block has more potential for chaos and unpredictability than hundreds of miles of straight, boring highway. So those 2.5 billion city miles, they aren't just data points, they are a massive, incredible library of experience in handling the real world. So the narrative moves on. Hana pulls over at an In-N-Out, and it's right there, as she's thinking it all over, that the second big insight hits her. It's not just about how much data there is anymore. It's about the speed, the incredible speed at which it's all coming in. And you can see her realization laid out right here. Getting to that first billion miles, it took years. But as more and more cars hit the road, the next 6 billion miles were collected in just a fraction of that time. We're not talking about simple growth here. This is exponential acceleration. So, here's the absolute crux of it. The source is arguing that a critical tipping point has already been passed. The data flywheel is spinning so fast now that the gap between Tesla and everyone else isn't just growing, it's widening at a mind-boggling, ever-increasing rate. And all of this leads the story to its biggest, boldest, most central claim. Based on this explosion of data, the character concludes that the race for full autonomy, well, it's not just being led by one company, it's already been won. The source really paints a picture of two completely different approaches. You've got one method, where a massive, real-world fleet is constantly learning from millions of drivers every single day. And then you have the other method, small, controlled fleets of test cars driving around in very specific, limited areas. The argument is simple. The second method just can't possibly keep up with the first. It's like a fire hose versus a garden hose. And there it is. The story doesn't pull any punches. Through Hana's eyes, the source is saying that this data advantage has now become an unbeatable lead. The game, as she sees it, is checkmate. But hold on, because the story doesn't just stop with cars. It takes one final and really fascinating leap. It reframes this whole achievement as something way, way bigger than just teaching a car how to drive. This is where Hana has her biggest whoa moment. The original Turing test was all about whether a machine could fool a human through conversation. The source uses this as a really powerful analogy. It argues that with this milestone, an AI has proven it's intelligent not by typing words, but by navigating the messy, chaotic, physical world.
It's basically passed a whole new kind of Turing test.
So in the end, she connects all the dots. This isn't just about one company winning a race. It's presented as a truly historic moment in technology. And in the story, this realization leads her to make a very specific and very optimistic prediction about where the company's stock will be in the near future.
And that's where the story leaves us. It takes us all the way from a single news alert on a laptop to this massive conclusion about a new kind of intelligence. And it leaves us with this one final provocative question to think about. If this story is right, what does it really mean for all of us when an AI finally aces its driving test?